The girl I like has a boyfriend. He gambled, and abused her, yet she firmly believed he was a good man. She grew tired of me stepping in to defend her, accusing me of sowing discord, saying I disgusted her. Later, I stopped loving her. But she begged me to come back like crazy. One Anna hand had been beaten by her boyfriend, Ryan, again. When she came to me crying, I rolled up my sleeves, ready to confront Ryan. She stopped me, "Don't. He was just drunk." It was a moment of impulse. I was both heartbroken and frustrated. How many times has he laid his hands on you? And you're still defending him? Anna sobbed uncontrollably, the marks on her neck clearly visible. But when he's sober, he's really good to me. Look at this bracelet, he bought it for my birthday. He even cooks for me. I glanced at the bracelet. It was so cheap. And as for the cooking, it was nothing more than instant noodles with a single egg thrown in. I didn't understand. Anna came from a well-off family. Her parents showered her with love, and they gave her the best education. I had also treated her well over the years. But she could be so bewitched by a good-for-nothing man that she lost all her mind. I wanted to slap some sense into her. A worthless bracelet and a half-hearted bowl of noodles, this is what you call being good to you? Anna, wake up. What the hell is so great about that scumbag? She defended him. You don't understand. He's not like us. His parents divorced when he was young, and he grew up in hardship, but his heart is real. Real heart? That kind of trash doesn't deserve to be loved. Anna's face turned angry, clearly upset with me for insulting Ryan. At that moment, her phone rang. The caller ID read Ryan's name. Anna instantly transformed into someone else, a soft smile spreading across her face. Ryan, the tone on the other end of the phone was very bad. Anna, are you meeting with Henry Miller again? To Ryan, don't be mad. I'm just here to get something from Henry. I'll leave right away. Ignoring my protests, Anna quickly stood up and started to leave. At that moment, Mrs. Hand, Anna's mother, appeared, followed by two others. Anna was momentarily stunned. Mom? Mrs. Hand's face was stern. She immediately turned to glare at me. Henry Miller. Did you tell my mother? I had no choice. Since Anna refused to listen to me, I had to call her mother. When Mrs. Hand saw the marks on Anna's neck, her face turned pale, and she yelled, "That's the work of your boyfriend, right? I'm calling the cops and having him arrested." Anna cried out desperately, almost kneeling before her mother. "I beg you, don't call the police. I hurt myself by accident. It has nothing to do with Ryan. From now on, you're coming back home to live. I'm taking back the house I gave you. I won't go back home." Mrs. Hand had her taken away in a tough manner. After Anna left, I was fuming. I got in my car and drove straight to find Ryan. When I found him, he was at a street-side barbecue stand, drinking with a group of friends. I grabbed him by the collar and shouted, "What the hell is wrong with you? How dare you lay a hand on her? Are you even a man?" Ryan didn't care at all. His nonchalant attitude only made me angrier. He smirked and said, "Lay a hand on her? What do you mean by that? Like this?" He shoved his phone in my face, opening a video. My breath caught. My heart felt like it was being ripped out. In the video, Anna was kneeling on the floor, her long hair being pulled violently, her head tilted back, her eyes dazed, her voice broken as her body swayed with each brutal pull. Ryan patted my dull face with a grin, leaned close to my ear and said, "People like you who are always submissive and cautious are really boring to her. See? She loves it when I lay my hands on her. In your eyes, she's a goddess. But to me, she's just a horny bitch." Ha ha ha. His thug friends joined in, laughing uproariously. I was furious. ready to punch him without a second thought. Ryan slightly dodged, and my fist grazed his nose. Seeing me move, his underlings swarmed around. I was outnumbered, my fists couldn't hold up, and soon I was on the ground, clutching my head, taking blow after blow. Suddenly, Ryan coughed, and the beating stopped. "Ryan, what's going on? Why are you bleeding?" It was Anna. Even Mrs. Hand hadn't been able to stop her. Ryan wiped his nose, speaking sarcastically. "Henry Miller said he was going to kill me for you." Anna panicked, grabbing tissues to stop his bleeding. Once she was done, she finally noticed me. I was curled up on the ground, unable to get up. But she showed no intention of helping me. She just held Ryan, looking down at me. How many times do I have to say this? My relationship with Ryan is none of your business. I'm not a child anymore. Why does everyone keep interfering with my love life? Ryan bit Anna's ear, purposely making it obvious to me how affectionate they were. "Babe, this is the third time he's come after me. I'm really tired of this. Ugh, I don't know if my nose is broken, but it hurts." Anna softly comforted him, saying she would take him to the hospital. Then she turned back to me, her expression full of disgust. "Henry, what else do you do other than stir up trouble? Who do you think you are? Your kind of care makes me sick." Ryan grinned. "Did you hear that? Anna thinks you're disgusting. Get lost." My anger reached its peak. I shot up, rushing at Ryan, grabbing his neck. There was only one thought in my mind: today, I'm going to kill him. Anna screamed, helplessly trying to pull my arms off him. But without hesitation, she grabbed a beer bottle from nearby and swung it hard against my head. Before I passed out, one thought echoed in my mind: it's over. I woke up in a hospital room. My parents and Anna's parents were all there. Mrs. Hand's eyes were red. When she saw I was awake, she sighed in relief. "Thank goodness, Henry's all right." Mr. Hand looked grim and turned to my parents with an apologetic tone. "Mr. Miller, Mrs. Miller, if anything had happened to Henry, I would have killed that ungrateful daughter of mine." My mom, worried about me, couldn't help but express some resentment. "Henry has done everything for Anna over the years, you've seen it. He's given her nothing but the best, and I truly don't understand what kind of hatred makes someone treat him like this. To be honest, if Anna weren't your daughter, I would have called the police already." My dad cleared his throat, and my mom fell silent. Mr. Hand was so ashamed that he couldn't even look up. "Mr. Miller, Mrs. Miller is right. It's all Anna's fault. After the incident, she ran off with that scum, and wouldn't even answer our calls. But don't worry, once I find her, I'll bring her back and make her apologize to Henry." "Mr. Hand, it's okay. I won't have anything to do with Anna anymore. Whether she apologizes or not doesn't matter." Everyone stared at me in disbelief. They couldn't understand. Anna and I had been childhood sweethearts. She was like the sun to me, an irreplaceable part of my life. I had always been there for her, willing to accept all her whims and mistakes. To everyone else, it was inconceivable that I would cut ties with Anna. My mom was shocked. "Henry, are you serious?" Honestly, I was even surprised myself. I had known her for 20 years, loved her for 10, but it felt as if someone had suddenly pressed a delete button, and all my feelings for her vanished. Now, when I thought of Anna, I felt nothing. She was a stranger to me. Everyone exchanged glances but didn't speak. They all assumed I wasn't fully awake yet, so my mom immediately called for a doctor to come check on me. When I was discharged from the hospital, Mr. Hand really did bring Anna with him. Anna stood in front of me, reluctantly pulled by Mr. Hand. How could I have raised such an ungrateful, irresponsible daughter? Apologize to Henry, now. Anna's eyes were red and her nose slightly swollen, clearly from crying just moments ago. If it were the old days, this sight would have made my heart ache. But now, I felt nothing. I stared at her quietly, and no matter what, she did owe me an apology. To my surprise, she raised her chin defiantly and retorted, "If I hadn't stopped you, Ryan would have been the one hurt." Mr. Hand was furious, yelling, "What Ryan? Don't even mention that scumbag to me. Are you going to apologize or not? If not, I'll break your legs." I silently shook my head. Anna was still stubborn, still lost in her delusion. "Mr. Hand, I've already told you, there's no need for this." Then I turned to my mom and said, "Let's go." Without looking back at Anna, I walked straight out the door. Mr. Hand tried to call after me, but I didn't respond. As we were leaving, I heard Anna mumbling behind me, "See? I told you it wasn't necessary. Henry's never held anything against me, no matter what I've done." Yes, for as long as I could remember, I never blamed Anna. No matter how outrageous her actions were. Everyone around us thought that if one day Anna stabbed me with a knife, I'd be more worried about whether her hands would get blood on them than the fact that I was injured. But just as my mom and I were walking away, I heard a loud slap. I turned to see Anna clutching her face, crying. "You hit me? I'm hitting you, you useless daughter. I'm telling you, if you don't break up with that scum, I'll act like I don't have a daughter." "Well, if I'm so useless, then don't even acknowledge me as your daughter." Anna ran off crying, and that same day, she moved in with Ryan. Mr. and Mrs. Hand were furious, cursing their misfortune, as their home descended into chaos. But none of that mattered to me anymore. In the past, I had put my plans to study abroad on hold to stay by Anna's side. Now, I was ready to start over and focus on my future. As I immersed myself in preparing for my studies and all the paperwork, one day, Anna suddenly called me. She immediately asked to borrow $300,000. "Henry, my dad froze all my cards. And I have no money right now. You have to help me." She spoke with such entitlement. 300,000, of course, I could give her that. But why should I lend it to her? I replied coldly, "Aren't you living with Ryan now? Let him support you." Anna didn't catch the detachment in my voice, and went on explaining earnestly, "Ryan got scammed out of 100,000 at the casino. I'm planning to help him pay it back. And I want to redecorate his place, it's so old and uncomfortable to live in." Scammed out of 100,000? It was just another lost bet at the casino. Only someone as deluded as Anna could believe Ryan's lies. I refused her flatly. "No, I can't lend you any money." Anna was stunned. "Have your cards been frozen too?" I found it amusing. I had already made my stance clear, and she still didn't understand. Of course, she couldn't, how could she? I had always cherished her, taken care of her, and she could never imagine that one day, I wouldn't love her anymore. In her mind, I, Henry, would always be there, playing the role of a humble, submissive suitor, at her beck and call. Available whenever she needed. I'm saying, I'm not anyone to you. I don't want to lend you this money. There was a long silence on the other end of the phone. After a while, Anna suddenly let out a cold laugh. Then the call ended. I knew exactly what she was thinking. She was certain that I would be the one to cave, because that's how it had always been before. But this time, she was going to be disappointed. As I was applying for my visa, I accidentally bumped into a girl, and both of us dropped our papers. I quickly apologized and bent down to help pick them up. Only to realize that she was going to the same university as I was. I looked up in surprise. "You're going to that school too?" That's when I took a proper look at her, and I froze for a moment. She was beautiful. Anna had always been good-looking, but this girl was just as stunning, if not more. She glanced at my papers, then smiled lightly, two small dimples appearing at the corners of her mouth. Yeah, what a coincidence. Her name was Becky, and she was going to the same university, but a year below me. I smiled. Such a coincidence. Becky was cheerful. And we ended up talking about our alma mater for quite a while. When it was time for lunch, Becky suggested we eat together. Let's grab a bite. We're going to the same school, after all, that I hope you will take care of me in the future. I agreed and said, I'll treat you. She picked a fancy restaurant. We parked and were about to enter when I heard a familiar voice from behind. I sighed in disbelief. What were the odds? Ryan, I haven't been to a fancy restaurant in ages. Let's eat here today. Anna, this place is expensive. Be obedient. We won / eat yet. You can ask your parents to restore your credit card, and I have no problem with you eating 100 meals. I rolled my eyes without saying anything. Anna and Ryan were standing just a few meters behind us. As soon as I turned around, they noticed me too. Ryan glanced at me before his eyes landed on Becky. His gaze lit up. Being a man, I could immediately tell what he was thinking. I subtly stepped in front of Becky, but Anna blurted out, Becky? Becky smiled slightly. Anna. I was stunned. You two know each other? Becky laughed and explained, we were both in the dance club. Of course we know each other. The dance club? Back in university, I'd always gone to Anna's club performances, but I didn't remember much about Becky. Then I realized, whenever Anna was around, all my attention was on her. I never bothered to notice anyone else. Anna pouted and complained, Henry, you've been ignoring me for days. Are you still mad at me? I couldn't be bothered to engage with her, so my tone was casual. I've just been busy. If there's nothing else, we're going to eat. The we was, of course, referring to Becky and me. Anna's face immediately soured. She looked at Becky with a hint of annoyance. Tell me the truth. Is this sudden change because of her? I was done. She really didn't take last time seriously, when she had smashed a bottle on my head. Even if I was once willing to be your pursuer, Anna, the life of a pursuer is also a life. Anna, I ignore you just because I am tired, it has nothing to do with others. Anna got even more angry when she heard it, tired? Henry, do you know what you are saying? I am Anna who grew up with you. You say you are annoyed with me now? I know her character very well, she will not care about anything when she is naughty, so I signaled Becky to go in quickly. To my surprise, Anna grabbed Becky's sleeve. You're not going anywhere. You two should explain it to me. Henry, you won / even lend me 300,000 now, and you / talking to me like this, what do you mean by that? Becky, you are so shameless. Becky hadn't even had the chance to react, but I was already feeling embarrassed. In the past, I always viewed Anna through the lens of being childhood friends. I never thought anything she did was too much, but today. Today she had completely lost it. Anna, if you / sick, just go home with your useless trash boyfriend and don't / embarrass yourself out here. Anna froze completely at my shout. Her big eyes were filled with disbelief, and then tears welled up. She found it hard to accept. Because this was the first time in all our years of knowing each other that I had ever said anything like this to her. She stared at me, eyes filled with resentment and anger. Henry. You're shouting at me for another woman? Ryan finally managed to tear his lecherous eyes away from Becky. Who are you calling trash? I am calling you. Just as things between Ryan and I were about to escalate again, Becky suddenly let out a light laugh. All eyes turned toward her. Becky /'s voice was soft, almost gentle. If you can't even satisfy your girlfriend by taking her to a nice restaurant, you can call yourself a decent boyfriend. I had to admit, her words landed with impact. Ryan, the shameless jerk, actually flushed red. Anna, seeing her beloved man looking like he wanted to crawl into the ground, nearly lost her mind. Her brows shot up in anger as she placed her hands on her hips and yelled, "What do you know? Who are you to talk about my boyfriend? Becky, are you just jealous of me? First, you seduce Henry and stir up trouble between us, and now you humiliating my boyfriend. How low can you get?" Her foul mouth made her already beautiful features twist in a way that was almost grotesque. I couldn't help but wonder, what was it about her that I ever liked? Anna's voice got louder and louder, oblivious to the people gathering around us. My boyfriend might not have money now, but so what? That doesn't mean. The loud crack of a slap echoed through the air, startling everyone. Anna stumbled back, falling awkwardly onto the ground. Ryan pointed at her, furious. "Shut your mouth," who said him broke. Anna, still holding her face, seemed too stunned to even cry. She stared at Ryan in a daze. If I wasn't mistaken, this was the first time Ryan had slapped her while sober. Let alone do it in front of an audience. Now, she had no excuse to defend him. "Standing next to you is such a disgrace." Ryan spat those words out before turning on his heel and leaving, completely ignoring Anna still sitting on the ground. Anna gritted her teeth, watching him walk away. And then the tears came flooding out. I grabbed Becky and led her into the restaurant. "Sorry about that. No matter what, this was my fault, and she ended up taking the verbal beating because of me. Anna and I, we're childhood friends, but there are some unpleasant things between us." "Henry," Becky interrupted, "does Anna like you?" I almost choked on my own spit. How could she? She's in love with her boyfriend, Ryan. She loved him so much, it was as if she'd throw everything away for him. Even to the point of trying to hurt me. Becky chuckled lightly. But she clearly got upset seeing you and me together. Whatever her reasons, she's definitely angry. Angry? Because of me? Before I could retort, she added, "Anyway, let's not talk about her. Let's eat." I was fine with that. Otherwise, I wouldn't even know where to begin when it came to Anna. What surprised me, though, was that when we came out, Anna was still standing by the door. She hurriedly stood up when she saw me. Becky noticed and spoke up first. "Henry, I'll head off now. Honestly. The girl's emotional intelligence wasn't bad." I apologized to her before she left. It was for the best. Maybe I could finally have that talk with Anna. Once Becky was gone, Anna wrapped her arm around mine, swaying. "Henry." Her eyes were red, her voice low and soft. It was the same tone she always used when she was upset, when she'd been scolded by her parents, when she came to me seeking comfort. I was always there, always open to her. But that version of Henry was long gone. The Henry who loved Anna for 10 years had vanished. Under my cold gaze, Anna started to feel uneasy. "Henry. I know you re still mad at me. Mad because I didn't listen to you, because I hurt you for Ryan. Please don't stay angry, okay? This time, let me be the one to apologize." Anna was finally backing down. And this was the first time she had ever done so. I silently pulled my arm away from hers. She cried, "I admit it, I was too harsh that day. I just saw you strangling Ryan, and I was so scared, I didn't think at all. I really didn't mean to hurt you, please don't ignore me, okay? Ugh, Ryan treats me like this, and now you're doing the same. I really feel like the sky is falling." When Ryan hit her before, I was there to offer warmth and comfort. Now that I'm not, she feels like something's missing, doesn't she? I corrected her, I'm not like your boyfriend. Whether you and Ryan fight for an hour or a day, it's none of my business. But I'll tell you this, I'll never again go running after someone who's pushing me away. Hearing that, Anna panicked. Henry, don't do this. You're making me feel like I don't know you anymore. Don't you remember? You promised you always protect me. I did say that. But you also said you didn't need me by your side. I annoy you. I stir up trouble, and I disgust you. No, that was just me being angry. I really can't live without you. Please don't be like this. I shook my head, refusing with finality. Anna's attitude suddenly hardened. I've just figured it out. Ryan and I aren't right for each other, just like you said. He doesn't respect me at all. I'll never make excuses for his bad behavior again. I won't even talk to him anymore. I remained unmoved. Sorry, but it's hard to believe you. Seeing that I didn't believe her, Anna dialed Ryan's number right in front of me. Ryan, you're a piece of trash. A scumbag who hits women. I'm officially telling you, we're done. Go to hell. With that, she hung up the phone swiftly. All the stuff I left at his place, I'm getting it moved out today. I'm going back home, and I'll never see Ryan again. Henry, I'm listening to you. From today on, I'll stay far away from him. So, can we go back to the way we were before? I looked at Anna, more confused than ever. When Ryan hit her, even when it was worse than this, she wouldn't say a bad word about him. Let alone break up with him. Something didn't add up. I recalled what Becky had said earlier. Does Anna like you? Anna's mad. I frowned. It couldn't be. After 10 years of pursuing her and getting nothing, now that I wasn't chasing her, how could she suddenly like me? At most, it was just Anna's possessiveness kicking in. After all, she had long assumed I would always be the one to protect and spoil her. I replied coolly, if you really broke up with him, then congratulations. But as for us, let's just stay ordinary friends from now on. Anna froze, unable to say another word. After I spoke, I walked away. This time, Anna was serious about it. She went home, apologized to her parents, deleted every photo with Ryan from her social media, and posted a single declaration. At the end of it, she added, some loves might be wrong, but the bond we've shared since childhood is the truest. I'll find what belongs to me again, because it was always meant for me. TSK, a bit too much drama. Anna became sentimental, sending me long messages about our past memories almost every other day or night. It really started to annoy me, so I blocked her. On my birthday, Becky called me. Henry. Happy birthday. I was a little surprised. How did you know? I saw it when I was applying for my visa. Oh, haha, thanks. Do you have plans today? I honestly said no. Perfect. Last time I was going to treat you to dinner but you ended up paying, so this time, let me do it. I almost said no, but Becky insisted. First she said a girl's invitation couldn't be rejected, then she said I'd have to look out for her when she went abroad, so I finally agreed. To be honest, I don't think I've ever had a heart-to-heart conversation with any girl other than Anna. Becky was like an old friend to me. Someone I could talk to without any awkwardness. We discussed philosophy, music, games, childhood memories, no matter the topic, she seemed to understand me so well. More than once, I found myself laughing uncontrollably. Since Anna got together with Ryan a year ago, I hadn't felt genuinely happy. Without even realizing it, hours had passed, 4 or 5 of them. When I dropped Becky off at her place, I thanked her sincerely. She mysteriously pulled out a beautifully wrapped gift from her bag. Henry, this is for you. But don't open it yet, wait until you get home. I smiled and agreed. When I got home, I was startled to find Anna sitting on my couch in my shirt, watching TV. "You're back. I've been waiting for you." She acted as if it was perfectly normal, and I was left speechless. Anna always knew my door lock code, so she could come over whenever she wanted. After Ryan hit her for the first time, she came to me and cried all night. I remember I was so furious, I almost wanted to kill that scumbag. I went to find Ryan that same night and gave him a good beating. But the next morning, while I was still in the hospital getting patched up, she was already on the phone with Ryan and went back to him without even telling me. That was the first time I truly felt like a fool for trying so hard for her. Anna skipped over to the dining table, her eyes sparkling. "Birthday cake. Happy 25th birthday to my knight, Henry." She always called me her knight. Shed once said she was a princess, and I'd always be her knight, protecting her. Anna either didn't see, or pretended not to see, the frustration and displeasure on my face as she called me over excitedly. "I've been waiting here hungry for you, come on." I set the gift Becky gave me down and stood still in the shadow of the entrance. "Anna, things between us can't go back to how they were. Your knight, he's leaving." Anna didn't seem to hear me. She found a lighter and lit the candles on the cake. "The candles are lit. Hurry up and make a wish." She had her back to me, so I couldn't see her expression. I repeated myself. "You really don't have to do this." Anna, who had seemed so happy just a moment ago, suddenly snapped, throwing the lighter to the floor with a crash. "Enough. Enough." She spun around, and for the first time, I saw that her face was covered in tears. She let out all her pent-up emotions, shouting at me in a voice full of anger. "Henry, I had a failed relationship. I didn't listen to you when I should have. But I'm not fine either. On one side, I have my boyfriend, on the other, I have my childhood friend. What was I supposed to do? If you're still holding a grudge about me hitting you, then fine, hit me back. Go ahead, hit me. Consider it payback, okay? I don't get it. You used to be different. You never would have left me cold like this, ignored me, said harsh things, or treated me like a stranger. Why? Why?" She was hysterical now, sobbing uncontrollably. I sighed. "I'm sorry. But we really can't go back." Anna stopped crying, her eyes now filled with malice. "You weren't home all afternoon, you were with Becky, right? What's so great about her? Tell me the truth, are you trying to make me jealous on purpose? I don't believe you like her. What does she have that's better than me, besides looking good?" My headache was getting worse. I really didn't have the energy to deal with her anymore. So I asked her to leave. "This is my personal matter. I don't need to report to you. Now I'm going to rest. Please leave." Anna nodded repeatedly, then started rambling again. "I get it now, you're getting back at me. I was with Ryan, and you never liked it. Now you're with Becky, doing the same thing to get back at me, right?" I was speechless again. "Henry, let me tell you. Today is the last time I'm giving you a chance. If you keep acting this cold, then we'll never speak again, got it? Don't come crying to me later." In the end, it turned out she was the one giving me chances all along. I smiled and said, "I don't need that chance. Thanks." Anna was so speechless with rage that she couldn't say another word, and finally, in frustration, she stormed out. But as she reached the door, she stopped. "Henry, what's your problem? You're always criticizing Ryan, but at least when he admits his mistakes, it's sincere. He calls me every day to apologize, sends me gifts to cheer me up. And you? You used to say you'd always pamper and care for me. Where's that? Do you think it'll never work out with Ryan? Fine. Just wait and see." I'm going to get back together with him. For you, for my parents, for everyone, I'm going to prove that my choice was right. You think he's worthless, but one day, my boyfriend's going to slap your face hard. I just stood there, speechless. After Anna's outburst, I'd forgotten about Becky's gift, which I had left on the entryway shelf. But true to her word, Anna did get back together with Ryan. She had another huge fight with her parents, and then moved out of their house. Her mom's heart condition flared up again from the stress. I didn't understand. But I was shocked. I decided to let her do whatever she wanted. As my departure for studying abroad drew nearer, I started talking to Becky more. We'd chat about studying abroad, and before I knew it, we'd be discussing college life. Actually, when I first started college, I almost got depressed, she casually mentioned. No way. You're such a pretty girl, you should be confident and cheerful, I said, genuinely surprised. She laughed at that, then suddenly switched the topic. You haven't opened your gift yet, right? Huh. Damn, I had forgotten. How did she know? But before I could ask, she simply laughed and wished me good night. I was about to open the gift when my mom called. Since Anna and I lived in the same neighborhood, it wasn't hard for news to spread, and sometimes, you couldn't avoid hearing it even if you tried. And this news was a bombshell. Anna was pregnant. Anna had brought Ryan home. According to my mom, they were hoping to use the baby to force the Hand couple into submission. They either had to accept Ryan or reinstate Anna's credit card. The Hand family had already lost face because of their daughter running away with a thug, but now, these two had the audacity to use the baby as leverage and came knocking at their door. Mr. Hand was not someone who could be threatened easily. He immediately shouted that he would kill Ryan on the spot. Anna stepped in front of Ryan and shouted, "No matter what you think of him, he's still the father of my child. If you want to hit someone, hit all three of us." Mr. Hand couldn't bring himself to hit them, but he yelled at them to leave. Before she left, Anna said she was going to register for marriage, insisting that the child must have a name once it was born. Mrs. Hand nearly passed out from crying. Finally, Mr. Hand had the maid use a broom to physically shove them out. My mom sighed on the phone. Anna used to be such a well-behaved, sensible child. How did she turn into this? What kind of nonsense has that thug boyfriend filled her head with? Now she's pregnant out of wedlock, and the Hand family's reputation is completely ruined. I was silent. Maybe, in Anna's mind, Ryan was like the rebellious, carefree hero from a TV drama. They were meant to break free from society's constraints, overcome all obstacles, and live happily ever after. I could accept her not loving me and falling for someone else. But she had squandered her best years for a scumbag, severed ties with her parents, destroyed her own future, and now spent her days speeding around, drinking, be his babysitter, and now, she was pregnant. My mom's call had interrupted my thoughts, and once again, I'd forgotten about Becky's gift. With only a few days left before I left for study abroad, my mom came over to help me pack. She sighed, "You've been so focused on Anna for so long, and you're already this old. Yet you've never even had a proper relationship. Now, you're going abroad." I was scrolling through videos on my phone and didn't respond. The next second, Becky's video call came through. I rushed into my bedroom, making sure to close the door behind me. "Henry, I need to take care of something, but my car broke down today. Could you be my driver for the day?" Our relationship had become much more casual by now, so I smiled. "I'd be happy to. I'm at the hospital, just saw a friend. You can come pick me up here." "Got it." I hung up, only to find my mom grinning at me with that teasing look. "Henry, who were you video chatting with?" I sighed. "Just a friend. When did you get here? Why didn't you knock?" Eavesdropping isn't very polite. I just got here, and I knocked, but you didn't hear it. How is it my fault? Anyway, let's get serious. When did you meet this girl? What does she do? How old is she? I couldn't escape her questioning and reluctantly told her the truth. My mom nodded repeatedly. Before I left, she gave me one final piece of advice: this girl seems great, you must seize the opportunity. Well, actually, that's exactly what I was thinking too. When I arrived at the hospital and was waiting for Becky in the lobby, a sudden commotion erupted behind me. A few medical staff were pushing an emergency bed forward, and the crowd quickly parted to make way. The staff was shouting, "Patient is hemorrhaging severely, needs immediate surgery." At that moment, I got a clear look at the person lying on the bed. It was Anna. Her face was deathly pale, her eyes tightly shut from the pain. I was shocked. How could she be hemorrhaging? Where was Ryan? Before I could process everything, she was rushed into the operating room for emergency surgery. "Henry, what are you looking at?" I turned around to find Becky standing behind me. When she heard about Anna, her face grew serious. "You should call her parents immediately." I nodded. This was no small matter, her family needed to be here. Poor hand couple. Just when they were starting to recover from their daughter's pregnancy drama, this new blow came. They stood outside the operating room, eyes red, looking at least 10 years older. In the middle of the surgery, the doctor brought out a critical condition notice for the family to sign. Mr. Hand gritted his teeth and signed, but Mrs. Hand burst into uncontrollable tears. "That damn Ryan. He's ruined my daughter's life." I held her up, making sure she didn't collapse, and she clung to me tightly. "Henry, why isn't Anna with you? You're such a good kid, you would never let her go through all this. You would never let her end up like this." I was at a loss for words. Because Anna had lost so much blood, the exact time of the surgery's completion was uncertain. So I told Becky to head back. She thoughtfully bought us some water and food before leaving. We must have waited for hours, until finally, the doctor came out to announce that Anna was out of danger. Everyone let out a collective sigh of relief. When Anna woke up, I wasn't sure if it was out of some stubborn pride, but at first, she refused to say anything. Eventually, after Mrs. Hand cried and pressured her, Anna told us what happened. As expected, it was that scumbag Ryan. When Anna had money to spend on him, he pretended to be a nice guy. But now that she was broke, his true colors had shown. He spent his days drinking, gambling, and sleeping with different women. Anna worked tirelessly every day, cooking, cleaning, and doing the household chores, yet Ryan wouldn't even give her money for it. They had another argument that morning, and Ryan got violent. After telling us all this, Anna finally broke down in tears. "Henry, I was wrong. I shouldn't have ignored you. Ryan is a total liar, a bastard." Mrs. Hand listened as she wept, her tears flowing uncontrollably until she became a trembling mess. "Anna, your father and I are getting old. We really can't handle this kind of shock. Come home, please. Stop fighting us." Mr. Hand clenched his teeth in anger. "I will never forgive that bastard." But Anna didn't react to her parents. She was only looking at me. Now I finally understand. Being with Ryan was a mistake from the beginning. I thought I was different, that I could change him, but he's scumbag. He doesn't deserve anyone's love. "Henry, everything you said to me before was right." Anna's voice grew more frantic as she cried uncontrollably. "When I was unconscious, I had a dream. We were kids playing a game. I was the bride, and you were the groom. You told me you would always protect me, make me happy, make me smile. Do you remember?" Of course, I remembered. How could I forget? But what was the point of talking about it now? I sighed. You should rest now. Don't think about these things. No. Anna suddenly tried to sit up as if she were desperate, but her parents quickly pressed her back down. Henry, please don't leave. I'm afraid if you leave, you'll never come back. I really know I was wrong. I'm begging you, can we go back to how things were before? I won't let anyone insult you or hurt you anymore. Please, don't leave. Anna's crying grew louder, and a nurse appeared at the door. Patient has just undergone surgery. Family, please make sure she stays calm. I had no choice but to say, let's not talk about this now. We'll talk after you're discharged. Henry, don't go. From now on, I'll protect you, I'll take care of you, okay? I'm begging you, don't leave me. Anna even tried to get out of bed to chase after me, so I quickly slipped out of the room. Once outside, I was surprised to see Becky standing at the door. Becky. When did you get here? Not long ago. How's Anna? I shook my head. You probably heard everything. She fell silent, and after a while, she seemed to gather enough courage to speak. Henry, with study abroad coming up in a couple of days, are you still going? I could hear the hesitation and concern in her voice, and I couldn't help but laugh. Silly, why would you even ask that? Of course, I'm going. Becky's tense shoulders seemed to relax at my words, and then she feigned anger. Henry, why do you have to call me silly? I think you're the silly one. By the way, you still haven't opened the birthday gift I gave you, have you? Oh, she reminded me. I almost forgot. I pulled something out of my pocket. It was a small crystal ball. Becky's eyes brightened. So you did open it? Yeah, I was wondering where my crystal ball went. Turns out it ended up with you. Well, that's because you forgot about it. Not my fault. I smiled as I remembered. This gift was something I had once given Becky. And now she was giving it back to me. It was 20-year-old Henry giving it to 19-year-old Becky. I was so down during that time. I felt like I was starting to slip into depression. Every day, I had to hide behind the library and cry for hours. Well, I happened to like memorizing French words back there, and you kept bothering me for days. I got frustrated, couldn't understand why someone would cry every day. Humph, Henry, so were you planning on taking it out on me? Taking it out? How could I? Didn't I try to console you later? You even said you looked too ugly when crying and told me not to watch, which is why I didn't remember much. You may not be good at comforting, but there's one thing you said that I've always remembered. Which one? You told me that if I found my son, maybe the darkness in life would go away. Then you gave me this thing, saying it was a gift. With the condition that I wouldn't disturb you while you were memorizing French words. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. It was amazing how fate had brought Becky and me together 5 years ago. I thought I would always struggle in relationships. But it turns out fate hadn't been unkind to me. My mom told me that Anna was fine now, just needing rest. And Ryan, that piece of scum, had reappeared to make his presence known. He actually had the audacity to threaten Anna with their intimate videos, saying if she didn't pay him $500,000, he would release them online. Mr. Hand was getting ready to deal with him, but Ryan walked right into his own demise. The police were called, and a lawsuit. Before Ryan went to jail, he still demanded to see Anna. Of course, this all happened after I left for my studies abroad. The day Becky and I were leaving, Anna actually showed up at the airport. Mrs. Hand was beside herself. Anna said if she couldn't see you, she'd jump from the building. She's driving me crazy. Anna, still recovering, looked pale and frail. Her small frame wrapped in an oversized coat. I need to speak with Henry alone. My mom, helpless, signaled me to keep an eye on Anna and not to provoke her. Becky, understanding, nodded. Are you really leaving? Yeah. If I said I could go with you, that I'd be by your side through everything, no matter what, could we? Can't. Anna instantly broke down, tears pouring down her face. Anna, what's in the past is in the past. We both need to move forward. She held her mouth and just shook her head. I knew she really regretted it. She really wanted to be with me. But now, I had to take the hand of another girl and step into a new life. The love we once shared was real, but the love that no longer existed was also real. She should have her own new life too. Right before the security checkpoint, Anna still clung to my arm, desperately not letting me go. Becky said she'd try to talk to her. It was incredible. After just a few minutes of talking, Anna stopped crying and just stared at me blankly. I asked Becky on the plane what she had said to Anna. She smiled. Top secret.
Becky's side story: when I was 19, I fell for a guy. Unfortunately, he liked another girl. I heard they were childhood sweethearts, and I couldn't accept it. She was in the dance club, so I joined too. That way, I could see him more often, only to sadly realize he really loved her. I was nothing more than a stranger to him, someone his eyes could never notice. I hid my feelings but couldn't help but keep track of his every move. After graduation, I still tried everything I could to find out about his life. When I heard he was planning to go study abroad in the UK, I was ecstatic. 5 years had passed and I still hadn't gotten over him, so I decided to give myself a chance. I quit my job and applied to the same university. I waited where the visa applications were handled, intentionally running into him. Perhaps the gears of fate began to turn from that story about the crystal ball. A crystal ball, no bigger than half a palm, yet it contained an entire solar system, with countless shining stars bearing witness to the Earth's unwavering devotion to the sun. I thought I had no chance left. Turns out, fate hadn't been unkind to me. At the airport, I asked Anna, "Do you love Henry?" Though weak, she glared at me with hostility. Of course. We grew up together. What do you know? No. Are you in love with the feeling he gives you, or do you actually love him as a person? She was about to argue, but I didn't give her the chance. In your junior year, when Henry sprained his ankle playing basketball, you ignore him for a whole week just because he couldn't go with you to an out-of-town concert. When you graduated, Henry wanted to study abroad with you, but you didn't want to go and kept dragging your feet, making sure he couldn't leave. You started dating, and even though you knew it hurt him to watch you with someone else, you kept provoking him. Even when he stood up for you, you made sure he was left broken and bruised. He has a stomach condition. Cold coffee gives him diarrhea. He sometimes gets headaches, and his throat hurts during seasonal changes. Did you ever know any of this? You keep talking about how you're childhood sweethearts, but have you ever truly cared for him? Have you ever paid attention to the little things? Are you willing to invest the time to understand him? He treats you like a princess, but in my eyes, you're just someone who's incredibly selfish, only concerned with your own emotions, your happiness, your sadness, your anger, your joy. Anna looked at Henry, stunned. I said all I needed to. On the plane, Henry asked me what I said to Anna. I didn't tell him. There was no need, right? At 10,000 meters high, the breathtaking view stretched endlessly before us. Henry and I intertwined our fingers, and the sweet yet edgy voice of Avril Lavigne played through my headphones. Anna, you're out.